Today, we introduce another actor in the program for governance and education, and this is the private sector. So, let me introduce to you the distinguished panel for this panel strengthened with the theme Public-Private Partnership in Governance and Education. So our first panel is Mr. Mark Yu. He is the President for Retail and Chief Financial Officer of Sea Oil Corporations. Alam naman po natin ang Sea Oil, ano po? So this is a major player in the fuel industry in the Philippines, very much known for their green initiatives. So yan po yung Sea Oil. Aside from being the President for Retail and CFA, Chief Financial Officer of Sea Oil, Mr. Yu is a chartered financial analyst. So he is a former president of the CFA Society for the Philippines. Yung pong CFA is Chartered Financial Analyst of the CFA Institute in the US. So it's a US-based organization of investment professionals at siya po yung president ng chapter dito sa Philippines. But Mr. Yu is also known for his focus on scaling value creation, improving efficiency, and expanding the company's network. So may I call on Mr. Mark Yu in the stage. Hello. Thank you. Our second panel is Dr. Angela Fernandez-Ferrer. She is the current Executive Director of Private Education Assistance Commission, or PEAC. We know that PEAC is DepEd's partner to implement tuition subsidy program for the education, like the education service contracting and the high school voucher program. So, and also Dr. Ferrer is one of the policy advisors to the Second Congressional Commission on Education, or EDCOM-2. Okay, so welcome, Dr. Ferrer. Our third panelist is no less than our president in Synergia, Sir Migs Dominguez. Okay. No more. We are supposed to have another one, but baka hahabol pa lang. Okay, so before we turn our discussion from our finalists, let me just give you the context for this panel. So the title of the panel is I Strengthen Public-Private Partnership in Government and in Education. So we all know that local governments and the business sector are distinct but interconnected. So both sectors aim to stimulate economic activity, attract investment, and enhance the community's overall quality of life. But they operate in different spheres. Magkaiba ang ginagalawan nilang mundo, di ba? One, the local governments are driven by public service, while the other, the business sector, is driven by productivity and profitability. But the two sectors are mutually dependent. Ayan. So local government provides the necessary environment for business to operate, while the business sector provides the economic engine that funds public services. So our discussion today will examine the differences and possible areas of intersection through which the private sector and the local government can work together to promote community development, starting with the provision of basic education. So ayan po ang ating context ngayon at magsisimula na po tayo sa ating discussion. Uupo na po ako. Good morning, dear panelists, and thank you for coming to this discussion on public-private partnership in governance and education. Marami po tayong questions na nakalista dito. Isa-isahin natin. Okay. Our first question is, are there differences or similarities in the way the public sector and the private sector practice governance? So in general, are there differences in the way we practice governance? Magkaiba ba ang pamamaraan ng governance pag ikaw ay nasa private sector o kung ikaw ay nasa public sector? Meron din bang pagkakahalintulad, pagkaka-similarities? So if there are differences, how different? If there are similarities, how are they similar? So volunteer lang muna tayo who would like to go first. By age? Si Mr. Mark daw. Ayan.
Thank you. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Actually, before coming here, hindi ko po alam kung narinig nyo na ang tinatawag na digital twin. Narinig nyo na ba yun? Kung baga, pwede kang gumawa ng kopya ng sarili mo online.
Yeah.
So, I actually tried that. Ang ginawa ko, yung mga tinanong ko sa ChatGPT. Ang tanong ko sa ChatGPT, sa pagkakakilala mo sa akin, kung akong sasagot na to, anong isasagot mo? So, ito yung sinagot, babasahin ko na lang.
Okay, sir, basahin mo.
Okay, so number 1, both the private sector and LGUs are stewards, just of different kinds of capital. So business stewards financial capital, LGU steward social trust and community well-being. The opportunity is to combine both. Nakakatakot, no? Sabi ko, ito nga sasagutin ko talaga, no? So for LGUs, long-term thinking in government is an act of leadership, not politics. It says, we care not only about the next budget cycle, but the next generation. So great governance is ultimately an expression of care for citizens today and for families tomorrow. So, ang i-add ko na lang dito is, I guess as businesses, we're in a fortunate position to think long-term. And so from a governance perspective, talagang stewardship ang pananaw. And to the extent that we can combine both the financial as well as our care for the constituents and the family, I think we have a great opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yu. Sir.
I will admit I'm the second youngest. Because my wife said, never ever ask a lady her age. So I think I look older, no, ma'am? I think I'm fortunate to have been able to be a chief executive sa isang probinsya, Turnigo of Toto, and now as a businessman. So I think in terms of governance, governance in LGU's perspective is transparency. Being open, having everybody see where the funds are going. In business, it's also about transparency and inclusion. Earlier today, we heard senators talk about the trillions of pesos. And I said to myself, money does not solve everything. I think what I learned in governance, especially in local government, is that hindi pera ang solusyon ng problema. But it's how you use your political capital and, as Governor Toto said, mobilizing all of your stakeholders to achieve your goal. Sa business, may kapital tayo, whether equity, inutang mo, and we always ask ourselves, do we have that organization to be able to deliver on our goals and our vision? And I think that is what the essence of governance is. It's not just being about transparency, but also seeing value in every stakeholder, whether teacher, konsehal, barangay captain, PTA. Sa negosyo natin, it could be our board of directors, it could be our department heads, our suppliers, our partners, and seeing this whole ecosystem move towards achieving your objective and the outcome. Kaya sabi kanina, we have trillions of pesos now sa government, but sabi ko, pag wala tayong mayors, pag wala tayong team sa cooperation sa DepEd, wala tayong governors like Governor Toto, that money will be spent but makukuha ba natin yung objectives natin? So in governance, I think it's really seeing the value of every person in the room in achieving your objective.
Okay, Dr. Ferrer.
Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat at di ako makapaniwala na ako ang pinakamatanda sa ating tatlo. Based on what, how you did the sequencing. But magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Very happy to be
Dyslexic
here.
po kami.
Invited by
Papabaliktad.
yung mga taga-EDCOM na kasama ko, si Father Ben Nebres at si Dr. Nene Guevara. So just to answer the question very briefly, anong pagkakaiba ng public at private schools? Very obvious ang pagkakaiba. Ang public schools, state-owned. Ang private schools, some are mission-driven, some are, are for profit, but they're also obviously not owned by government. Nanggaling po ako ngayon sa Senado kung saan pinag-uusapan ang pag-expand ng voucher program sa K-6. At doon sa usapin na yon, pinag-uusapan ang congestion sa public schools at kung paano natin ma-move ang mga estudyante from public to private because we also can see the excess capacity of private schools, the empty classrooms and the empty seats. And in the entire discussion, they were saying, what is our certainty that the private schools will deliver? At sayang daw ang pera ng bayan kung hindi magkakaroon ng magandang resulta ang voucher program. Isa ho sa sinagot ko ay, ang public schools ay state-funded. Pera natin ang public schools. Sa kailangan nakaka-deliver ang mga public schools natin. So in both cases then, what we're trying to say is that we are believers of complementarity. Hindi ho magka-compete ang public at private. Tayo ay magkasama, lalo na sa basic education, sa foundational K-6, because we are believers of publicly funded, but maybe privately administered or publicly administered, but there's public funding. So yung voucher program po right now, ini-implement ng PAC dahil kami ay kinocontract ng DepEd taon-taon. Meron na ho tayong more than 2 million grantees sa grade 7 to 10 at grades 11 and 12. Mga 8,000 private schools ho ang nasa programa. May mga konting problema tayo na probably narinig ninyo sa mga balita, but that is only because there is a gap in the quality assuring of our senior high providers. Now, having said that, we're happy with the Senate and the House, and even the President, saying that they want to expand the support to K-6 kasi kailangan natin pagtulong-tulungan ang malaking problema sa edukasyon at gusto hong tumulong ng private schools. Kitang-kita naman natin lahat, and the LGUs who are here, we really need to think public and private in the provision at the minimum of basic education. Because sabi ko nga palagi, kapag gumraduate ang isang bata, hindi mo naman tinatanong kung saan yan gumraduate. Ang mahalaga, siya ay nagiging productive member of society and that we're able to really, be up to standard of all the learners at the minimum basic education. So that's my long answer.
Okay, so thank you very much. So nakita po natin doon na kahit they belong in different spheres, public sector, private sector, may convergence din pagdating sa pagtingin sa mga resources that are available. So sa private sector, importante yung ating finance and our resources. Sa public sector, it is not enough. You still have to make sure that you facilitate stewardship, sabi ni Sir Mark kanina, and kinonfirm naman ni Sir Mix that you have to see value in every resource that you have, especially your human capital. And I think the setting of the private public education sector na sinabi ni Dr. Ferrer gives concrete space for that. So, ibig sabihin, in governance, it is important that we are very aware of the objective that we want to attain and make the best use of the resources that we have so that the mission that we have, we realize in the best possible way. Now, ito pong ating mga resource persons dito are leaders in their own right. They are leaders in the specific sector that they have chosen. So, tanungin po natin sila, ano ba sa tingin nila yung mga valuable leadership skills ng private sector na magandang mai-transfer din natin sa public sector? And ano din ba yung nakikita nyong good leadership skills in the public sector na pwede namang ma-adapt sa private sector if may nakikita tayong ganon. So first, ano muna yung mga natatanging skills ng private sector na pwedeng maibahagi sa government sector and vice versa. Mauna si Sir Migs,
Yung pinakabata.
pinakabata. Ako kasi yung pinakabata sa ating lahat, no?
One thing I adopted from private sector, pumunta ako ng gobyerno as governor, was not just looking at our role in the public sector and trying to do everything we can. One of the innovations I did nung governor ako, I recognized that sa public health, especially sa curative side, hindi talaga kaya ng public hospitals gumamot. So ginawa ko, sabi ko, hindi talaga natin kaya, let's reach out to the private sector, like what we're doing with vouchers. So kinuusap ko lahat ng ospital sa city at gumawa ko ng MOA sa mga ospital na 70-30 yung billing, zero balance billing, pero sagot ng probinsya ang 70%, 30% sasagutin ng munisipyo. And right there, we saw efficiencies right away. Na ang pasyente hindi na linggo sa ospital, maghanap pa ng pambili ng gamot, and we were able to get the job done, pay whatever cost was necessary, and at the end, we realized that peso spent by government actually led towards solving the problem and solving the issue. And we also looked at housing as an issue and a concern. So sabi ko, kung ako gagawa ng housing development, hindi ako babayaran, mahirap ang mangolekta, delay. So I went into partnerships with the private sector. I bought the land as governor. We had a joint venture with a private developer. In 2 years, we got the job done and developed 8 hectares of land for housing projects. So ang training ko sa private sector, efficiency, and importanteng ROI. Yung piso na ginagastos natin sa gobyerno, kailangan mas mabilis ang balik ng pera.
Return on investment.
A return on investment. So, I think si Mark is also a finance whiz, and he can talk about spending and how we can maximize the return, especially in public investments. Or ma'am.
Ako na lang. Sige. Dudugtungan ko lang, no? So in agreement ako, obviously, sa efficiency. Napakahalaga niyan. Pero hindi ko sinasabi that only the private schools value efficiency. I think the public schools value efficiency. The same way that when you say private schools, their advantage is they're more agile, they're flexible, they can innovate. I think our public schools also want to be agile, flexible, and be able to innovate. It's just that there are so many constraints from the system. Many of those who in the public school right now actually came from private schools, no? You know the lament of private, that they migrate to the public schools. So they came from us. In other words, they have those values of accountability, efficiency, flexibility, and agility. It's just that there are a lot of constraints in the system. So those are the ones that EDCOM already did recommendations on. You must have heard of all the reform initiatives under Secretary Sani. So lahat yan papunta dyan, no? Kasi palagi ko nga sinasabi, ayaw naming mag-compete sa public dahil bakit mo kokompetisyonan ang pera mo? See, the public school system is funded by the Filipino people. So our advocacy with government has always been, please recognize the role of private. Please think of private as a complement of the public school system. Please do not think of private schools as all the elite schools. Kasi that's a common misconception, ha? Bakit tutulungan yan, mayayaman yan? Hindi po. Not all the private schools are the private elite. And if we will look at our private schools, they also have the low to low middle students, no, in the private schools. Therefore, the government should think that way. So one of the things that I always, and all of us would say, na talagang lahat naman tayo believers dito, pero parang hindi nagagawa, is that we cannot have a one-size-fits-all solution to anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Pero minsan, sabi lang natin yan, pero pag nagbaba ng memo, parang one-size-fits-all, no? So, sa private, we know that. We always fight for that and say that we are not owned by government, there should be flexibility. But I should say that of the public schools as well. and even those at the division level, regional level, because definitely you can't do a one-size-fits-all solution.
Okay, so before we proceed kay Sir Mark, I want to agree and support what you said na hindi ibig sabihin na nasa private school ka mayaman, di ba? Mayaman and all the resources are available. I was once with De La Salle and we really have programs for the unfortunate. Hindi lahat ng students ay mayaman. So there are still those students who really need help and assistance. So tama naman yun. Sir Mark,
I think nabanggit na naman, I actually gonna move away from my phone because even with AI, ang nawawala is connection. And so I think that's something to keep in mind. We talked about ROI, and I think everybody knows that. In terms of business naman, there has to be more compassion. I think ang kalaban talaga sa lokal is oras. Dahil ang pananaw ng isang local official is 3 taon lang ako. So itong mga programa na gagawin ko, mararamdaman ba ng tao? So I think not just combining competence, pero in a manner na kayang maramdaman ng tao sa oras na kailangan mong gawin. Now, I learned this from the late Jesse Robredo during a seminar. May nagtanong sa kanya, should you be doing governance 24/7? Sa lokal, ang sagot niya, nako, mahirap yun. Sabi niya, ang political capital mo, kailangan pinakamataas pag nanalo ka. The next day, gamitin mo na. You implement the hardest reforms, pero 1 year, so it will take time bago maramdaman ng botante yan. And then, 1 taon bago mag-election ulit, doon ka ngayon kailangan, well, you have to understand ano yung mga mas kailangan ng tao. And I guess yun ang pinakamahirap between business and local government. Is yung pangangailangan ng tao, iba't ibang oras. Ngayon, kung gutom ako, kailangan kong pagkain ngayon. Alam nga naman mag-usap tayo, kailangan ko mag-aral. Kailangan ko ng pagkain ngayon. So, paano mo i-address yan? Yung iba na natugunan na okay na, busog na ako, you can now have the ability to think long-term. So, babalansihin nyo sa constituent kung ano mga programa na kailangan kong tuntunan sa mga ngayon nangangailangan sa ano yung long-term. Pero hindi pwedeng maiwanan yung long-term kasi doon lang tayo aangat eh. Kung palagi ang solusyon lang natin mag-abot, hindi talaga tayo makakaangat. So I guess yung sa business naman, I cannot speak for everyone, it's not all about ROI either. Because pag ang business yun lang iniisip, your environment's gonna degrade. Kami rin ang mamamerwiso. So we also have to think how are our products and the way we do business helping the local government in our society.
okay, so parang very enlightening sa atin kasi while we look at return on investment as one of the most popular, widely used measure of efficiency, maririnig natin sa boses ng ating mga private sector and businessman na it's not the only thing that businessman cared about. Mas may mataas tayong purpose other than the ROI. So while they're talking of efficiency, talking of being able to meet our needs in the best possible time, still may mas higher purpose pa rin tayong dapat na tingnan, lalong-lalo na kung tayo ay nasa public sector, kasi iba-iba yung pangangailangan ng ating mga constituents. And to be able to respond to each of these needs is really a challenge for leadership. So hindi madaling maging leader ng isang local government because of the varying needs and challenges faced by every local government executive. So maganda yung sharing natin dito kasi marami tayong napupulot na enlightenments way beyond what we normally just thought na ganito lang pala, kailangan efficient ka. Marami pa tayong dapat na challenges na haharapin, di ba? Now, kanina po, nung si Senator Bam ay nandito, sinabi niya na there was already public-private partnerships that happen between basic education and the private sector. Medyo naudlot lang kasi and most of these PPPs are in development of classrooms with the assistance of the private sector. Medyo naudlot lang kasi for the last 7 years parang 'di ba nawala siya. But he is saying that now we want to bring back PPPs in basic education. So sa tingin nyo, in what ways kaya businesses can help local government tackle these infrastructure challenges at this time? And sa tingin nyo, ano din kaya yung dapat namang respond ng local government if ever a PPP is possible with the business sector at this time? Okay, sir. Ayan.
As a businessman, safe space to, no? I would rather invest in education than pay taxes. Period. Because you know, whenever you pay tax, tama ba yun?
Oh, di ba?
Whenever you pay taxes, may leakages
Pwede
yan.
ba yun? Ako na rin.
Safe space. Walang ABS-CBN, walang bilyonaryo dito. Now, there is a program which I've espoused to DepEd to review and make it more efficient, yung tinatawag ng Adopt a School program. Where, if, kunyari si Mr. Mark Yu gives 1 million, he can get tax credits worth 1.5 million. May tax credits yan. And this is a good forum here because all of us have ideas. And all of us have our partner, local companies operating in your municipalities, cities, that you cannot just look at classroom building construction alone, but even purchasing tablets, computers, teacher trainings. It's something worth looking at. Just type up Adopt a School program and doon lahat ng menu items and see how we can help as an organization here make it more seamless for the companies partnering with the LGUs to get tax credits with the BIR in the most efficient way possible. If it's done efficiently, then you're going to see more and more investments from the private sector go into not just building classrooms, but helping individually, depending rin sa context ng munisipyo, kung anong pwedeng kailangan. So tingnan niyo yung Adopt a School program because we can unlock a lot of money from the private sector. Instead na magbabayad ako ng buwis, direkta, doon ko nilagay sa, alam ko na talagang yung piso ko, pupunta doon sa piso. Hindi ko sinasabi na wawala yung buwis. Okay? Pero nakita naman natin sa dyaryo at sa internet kung saan napupunta yung buwis. Okay, thank you.
Sir Mark.
Yeah, so what would encourage us to partner with the private or the public sector? The key word there is predictability. Private business sector just wants to be confident na kung ito ang sinabing rules, ito pa rin ang magiging rules next year, 2 years, gaano katagal yung proyekto. So, ang halimbawa doon, siguro, telepono. Bibili ka ba ng telepono kung alam mo the next day may bago? Hindi. You won't invest if you think na may mangyayaring iba the next day. So I'll keep it at that. If you want to engage with the private sector to invest in your locality, you have to give confidence that your policies are predictable and that in terms of enforcement, hindi lang isa yun eh. I mean, policy is one thing, pero can it be enforced is another thing. So also have to work, there's many stakeholders that have to work together. Yeah, the judiciary also has to come together such that this can be enforced. Because if there's no confidence that kahit na ito may mangyari, hindi ma-enforce, hindi rin mag-i-invest ang private sector. So it has to be predictable.
Yeah, so the policy environment has to be conducive for this partnership to work.
And enforcement.
And enforcement, oo. Doon tayo medyo kinakapos, sir, sa enforcement. So, tayong mga local governments, I think we just have to make sure that there is consistency and sustainability in the proposals that we will forward so that our private sector will have that really desire to partner with us. Yes, sir, Meeks.
So also as a local government official, once upon a time, ako I'm very proud to say that nakamit ko yung 1:1 textbook student ratio in the whole province before through private support. Walang gastos ng gobyerno. Nakamit ko yon. But ano ba hinahanap nung partner, sabi ni Mark?
Yeah.
One is predictability. Second, yung bawat kwento kailangan may datos. Bawat datos kailangan may kwento. And we're not just asking, boss, pahingin ng classroom building, but you say, it's not just a classroom building, but what I'm committing to you is also increasing NAT scores. I'm going to ensure that participation rates go up. so and so forth. So predictability and sustainability is very important. Napakaraming politiko, pero iilan lang talaga yung politiko na pwedeng magsumpa na meron akong programa tulad ng mga tao at leaders sa kwarto na ito sa PICC. So importante, packaging yourself, packaging the town, making sure that you have sustainability, predictability, the policy, so that we're just not investing one time, but we know that we're investing in a classroom, in a locality that will ensure the sustainability of the next generation.
So, highlight ko yung sinabi mo kanina, yung importance ng data. Di ba? So, data-driven dapat yung ating mga proposal so that we could justify why we need this. There must be some data that we could put there to support the need and the urgency na makita natin. Dr. Ferrer, you have something to say?
Okay, so earlier I said that the government, through the Department of Education, actually has a voucher program for junior high school and senior high school. No? But that is not exactly sufficient. I think the LGUs can also support private schools, no, in their own cities and municipalities. There are some who actually do it, giving some support to the private schools. Kasi nga sabi natin, hindi naman lahat ng private schools ay elite private. Now, I'm always emphasizing that because in the Philippines, obviously, you have a robust private education sector. And even while we realize na maraming problema sa public, nakita natin lahat yan sa EDCOM, nakita natin lahat, no, ang gaps in public schools, there are also private schools in the same cities and municipalities who can also be supported so that we will have both dynamic, public and private. Sinabi dati no, ng isang university president, ang public at private schools parang magkapatid yan. Sabi ko, magkapatid pero parang may paborito. Diba? Pero hindi naman siguro no, na may paborito because what we can see is, you know, government funds really being poured no, for public and even all of these donations of classrooms, usually, kasi nga may tax credits no, pag sa public schools. Pag sa private ka nagbigay, wala. Ang sa akin lang, if we will have that kind of a thinking, in our own cities and municipalities, something as small as that, hindi naman kailangan super malaki. Kita mo naman ang provision, kita mo kung nasa ng congestion, then malalaman natin kung saan ang pwedeng tulungan. We've done the study on that. We've seen the congestion in public. We've seen the excess seats in private in all divisions. So we have that data with us already. But that's just one. Provision lang yan. But what about teacher training? Minsan kasi magpapatrain ang LGU, hindi kasali ang private. O bakit naman? Right? These are also your constituents, right? Pag may binigay, hindi kasali yung private, pwede mo naman sabihin private low income. Pwede naman kasi ng ganon. In other words, in the scheme of things, wag lang kakalimutan. Kasi minsan, ang pakiramdam ng private, nakakalimutan sila. And I also say this to DepEd. The Department of Education is actually both for public and private. Because if it's only for public, then it should be the Department of Public Ed, right? So it actually owns the public schools. It regulates the private schools. In fact, that is something that is a governance issue also, no, in terms of, you know, that kind of a, you know, a mechanism. But having said that, alam ho natin, no, hindi uunlad ang ating bayan kung hindi lahat tayo sabay-sabay, no, mag-move in the direction of quality education programs. Hindi ho namin sinasabi na wag natin na masaya kami kapag maraming problema yung public para parang mas magaling kami. Hindi ho. We want both public and private to succeed. Ito ho ang data natin as of now. National, 91% of all students K-6 are in public schools. Kami ho ay may 9% lamang. In junior high school, 85% nasa public, 15% ang private. And over time, pababaho yan. Alam din ninyo yan. I think your private schools who are your constituents must have told you na nahihirapan sila sa enrollment, some are even closing, etc. We do not want a monolithic system. I suppose everybody understands that. Kaya kailangan siguro at the level of government, which, you know, DepEd now is very open to this, EDCOM also reiterates complementarity. In fact, priority area siya. Even the LGUs, I would imagine, proof of concept on how public-private complementarity can actually be achieved at your level. I think that is something that's very welcome. Magiging masaya ho kami kung makikita namin at your level, hindi na naghintay kung anumang batas ang isinabatas. Kasi there's, you know, to me, it's the right thing to do that we think of both public and private.
Well, I think it's, sige po, palakpak po tayo. Kasi ang ganda nitong realization natin, very timely, na naririnig natin ang voice ng private schools. Kasi laging ang pinag-uusapan natin, public, our problems, our concerns. Yung pala sila din, although they constitute the minority in terms of student population, still they share the same problems, the same concerns that we do, and they also need help. They should be our partners. They are not competitors, but they are also complementary to our public schools so that we attain the kind of education that we have. So yun po ang ating sharing kung paano magtutulungan yung public at saka itong private sector in terms of infrastructure and other concerns. Ngayon, ang tatanungin naman natin, halimbawa si Sir Mark, tanungin natin siya. Kung sakaling may mga opportunities, the opportunity is there for public-private partnership, ano yung mga tanong mo sa sarili mo bago ka mag-plunge into this possible partnership? Ano yung mga tatanungin mo? Magre-reflect ka. Ano yung mga reflection questions mo?
Same answer as earlier. I guess even before predictability, sustainability, enforcement, kahit naman na hindi proyekto, ang unang tanong is, mapagkakatiwalaan ko ba itong kausap ko? Kasi kung hindi, problema na, right? And with that, track record. I mean, how can you tell if somebody is somebody you can trust? You ask other people as well. So that's one. I mean, having crossed that barrier, I go back to that. And predictability, it comes in many forms. Alam mo na, okay, there's good governance, which is, for me, it's great, right? And if you can expect that every cycle, I think that's great. There's also others. I wouldn't use a word opposite to good governance, but kung the way they manage is more traditional, but you can expect it taon-taon na ganun din. As a business, there's also predictability. But is it sustainable? So iba yung dalawa na yun. In that regards, depende. You probably won't invest long-term because you know it's not going to be sustainable. There, you have to look at what I guess your other stakeholders are looking for. But at the end of the day, we need to work together to build trust. And if we can work on things that in the long term can benefit both of us, that's a recipe for more investments.
Yeah. So, anong unang-una? Credibility, di ba? Mapapagkatiwalaan ba kita? So, ayun, credibility, and then of course yung sustainability. So, are we going to work together smoothly over the long term? So, ayun. Sir Migs, ikaw, ano yung mga reflection questions mo? If you are in the private sector and there's a possibility and an opportunity to do a public-private partnership, what are the questions that you ask yourself before you decide going into the partnership?
First, it's always good to look at the proof of concept. And then we ask ourselves, if I have 1 peso to spend, how can I spend this to scale the program up, to help scale it up? I always say this sa gobyerno, mas madaling mangopya kaysa magbuka ng bagong programa. And finding those ideas, mayors, especially in areas where we operate, where we have operations, we like to engage the local governments, see what works and say, sige, dagdag ako ng konti para instead 2 barangay lang yan, 4 o 5 barangay ang makikinabang. And it's always good na may resibo tayo parati. Reports, maybe annually or quarterly, para maengganyo rin ang tumutulong. And being able to invite your benefactors to those project sites and let them hear those stories are very, very powerful. Mas malaki ang impact niya, mas malaki pa sa milyon na ibibigay dahil mauuwi nila yan and they will feel good about being part of it and having purpose in what they've invested in. So yung kwento talaga napaka-importante.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Ferrer, you have...
I completely agree with the answers. No? Siguro, para lang malaman, lalo na yung mga nasa public schools na nandito ngayon. No? Matagal na nating advocacy ito at ngayon nakapasok siya no, sa language ng batas on the K-12 vouchers that only quality-assured institutions can participate in the voucher program. Of course, we agree with monitoring and evaluating and everything, no? But it has to be really quality at the source. In other words, yung mga eskwelahan mo na maayos, alam mo na dekalibre, alam mo na committed, na talagang magbigay ng dekalidad na edukasyon, yan lang ang pwedeng mabigyan ng government subsidy. So that's your trust, you know, that's predictability, that's sustainability.
Okay, so colleagues, tandaan natin yung sinabi nila, no, that if there is a potential partnership that could happen, unang-una kailangan na, yun nga, credible tayo, data-driven, may enough data tayo, resibo, sabi kanina ni Sir Migs, and that yung focus natin sa outcomes that can be told as stories, so that makikita natin yung potential result talaga ng partnership, concrete outcomes. So very important kasi yun magsisimula pa lang tayo pero na-visualize na natin what should be the outcome from this partnership. Sabi nga ni Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. So before I start partnering with you, I should have a very good vision of what would be the outcome. So we're nearing the last stretch of our discussion. At ang ating tanong ngayon would be, if ever they had experience, kung nagkaroon na kayo ng experience partnering with a public sector, what are the good points or good experience that you can share? What are the not so good experience na nangyari sa inyo in that partnership? Kung sakali lang na meron kayong naging partnership in the past. Good experience, not so good experience, so that we would learn from it. Nako, napapaisip itong ating mga panelists. Marami ka daw problem, Sir Mark. Sige, share ka na dyan.
The partnerships we've had are not in the formal structure of a PPP. So in my case, I've had the privilege of devoting time to help in the board of a local university. And, you know, it's such a great way to be able to impact society. So as a business kasi, you're limited. In terms of resources, you just work with the resources that you have. So the positive experience there is if you're really working with a great locality, over time, no, I've been there for 7 years, and you see the growth of scores, mga board exam, na taon-taon tumataas. It's really great. I mean, why are we doing this? Why am I in business? Why are you guys in government? At the end of the day, it's for our kids. So to the extent that I can be part of that, to help create a better environment, and to be able to work with wonderful leaders, I think that's just really fulfilling. On the other side, gano'ng katagal bang oras natin dito?
Sige, sir.
I mean, that's a reality. You work with a local government and then nagpalit ng pamumuno. You always have to navigate that. In our case, mayroon na kami na saraduhan. You have to work o paano natin mabuksan ulit. And you always need to find out, are they thinking long-term? What are their needs? Are they short-term? With that, actually, we become more adaptive. We don't have a one-size-fits-all approach to engaging with local government. But we do encourage, even in that we will respond to the immediate need, but we would like for us to work together for something long-term.
Okay. Sir Mix, you have something to say? Yeah.
When I was in government, as a governor, alam mo, marami mga NGO working.
Yeah.
So sabi ko, ang dami-dami ninyo, let's put everybody on a map para alam natin kung ano bang ginagawa sa health, ano ginagawa sa education, ano ginagawa sa development, at nilagay namin sa mapa yan. And we created a local association called Spectrum for all the nonprofits working and foundations working in our province. And they became part of the Development and Development Council. So lahat may programa, alam namin yung mga gaps, at naisa-isa namin yung mga foundations, non-profits, working in the whole province to help government address these gaps long term. So putting something in order, na dati kanya-kanyang whether international organization, it's one of the things I'm proud of. We were able to organize it, and all these foundations became partners for development. And at the end, help solve and bring families out of poverty.
And you were able to identify the gaps because na-plot natin eh.
And government can
Yeah.
never do it alone.
No, yeah, okay. Dr. Ferrer, you have something to say? Yeah.
Siguro mabilis lang, no? Yung kanina pa na sinasabi kong konsepto ng complementarity, nasa Constitution yan eh. The state recognizes the complementary roles of public and private, pero hindi ako sigurado kung lahat tayo kumbinsido sa complementarity. For example, nagkakaroon tayo ng cases na our private schools are not allowed to promote that they have senior high schools in some public schools. I was saying, how can that be? Don't you tell the principal that the senior high school voucher program is a DepEd program? In other words, talagang parang palagay ko kailangan ng mahabang discussion dito so that everyone understands, is on the same page about what exactly is public-private complementarity all about, how do we operationalize it, and what are the principles that will have to be observed by all if we really will look at public and private as complementing each other. Nagkakaroon tayo ng ganun cases, no? Miski na yung central office mo will say, as a matter of policy, ganito siya. Pagdating sa field, naiiba. Kasi nga, depende rin sa interpretation siguro or sa paniniwala. Or minsan, point blank, I told the public school principal, may galit ka ba sa private? Ay, wala po, ma'am. O bakit hindi mo kami pinapabayaang mag-promote sa inyo ng voucher program? Ma'am, kailangan po namin ng mga estudyante kasi kailangan po namin sila para yung MOOE namin, ma-retain namin, and we need that budget in order to sustain school operations. In other words, these are things that we really will have to take a look at. Hindi dahil, again, we're competing, but because we want to see the systemic, the problems so that we can have, system-wide solutions as well.
Yes, Sir Mark, follow up. Yeah.
Yeah, just a follow-up with the story I shared earlier. You know, the school I worked with when we first started, yung board passing mababa. And with the change of leadership, I also got inspired. Bigla na lang may nagsabi na kung may nag-top ng board, meron ba tayong pwedeng maibigay. So I actually committed ₱1 million para doon sa
Wow.
nag-top ng board, mag 1 million.
Oy,
Oh,
mga colleagues
so-
kita niyo.
So after several years, actually last year, may number 3. So, I was so happy. We still gave an amount. Siyempre, hindi pwedeng 1 milyon kasi kailangan mo abutin talaga, number 1. But the private sector will help. And there are many out there who want to do that. We just need to be confident that there is progress. And in terms of that voucher system, actually that school, ang daming enrollment, di nakasya. So talagang kailangan ma-implement yung voucher system to get the students to go to other schools as well.
So, Carpe Diem, seize the opportunity. Kung may nakitang magandang outcome, yung partnership, mas na-inspire ang ating private sector to help more and to donate more. So we try to seize this opportunity that we have here, our panel, and they're sharing with you their insights and their reflections. Yung last question natin about recommendations, but I think along the course of questioning natin kanina, marami na silang nasabing recommendations.